Well, hello everyone, this is Jurgita and welcome to the May. Today is May 1st and I decided to start this video kind of differently. So some of you were wondering why I changed my channel name from the previous that I had, and why is that like a coffee and stitches. So what I have with you, I can't live without coffee. So I have my coffee and I usually like it black, and also I decided to start the day with the pie that my son, the one that is in the cooking classes and went in competition, which I talked a little bit about at the end of previous video. So he made this apple pie, and I usually drink coffee black. Occasionally I have like a cappuccino or something, but I wanted to show you some of the coffees occasionally what I use, because I drink pretty much every day and more than 1 cup. So one of the coffees I like is this McCafe premium roast. Sometimes I take a stronger one, but as you can see, I get in this giant containers, and it didn't last me for long, and it's already ground coffee. Of course, sometimes I get whole coffee beans, and because I have my own coffee grinder, but oh, it smells divine. So anyway, I love coffee and I drink it every day, like I said, and the majority of that is black. So time after time I'll share you different types of coffees that I drink, and it would be great to hear some of your suggestions, maybe for me to try different black coffees, not like super flavorful, but mostly black, because that's the only way I think that you can taste the different flavors without any mixes. So this is where I'm starting my May and Mania, and all kinds of good things are going to be in stitching. So let's start. Well, it's a May 1st, so I've decided to start something new, even if it's for just a little bit. At least I want to start. And this is the Wedding Confections by Meridian Designs. I got this at Needlework Galleria. Was it in 2022 or 2021? Maybe 22. And it came with also with the embellishment kit pack that had everything except I guess the fabric, which I got it myself. So it had all the threads in here that you need to stitch, so all the colorful threads, as you can see in the picture. And also it had these different types of beads. You can see big ones and this very sparkly white ones. And there's this bouquet that is gonna go on the top, like on the picture here, and it's just like a button, sorry for my nails, that you can just put the thread through and thread it down. So that's a very cute bouquet. And I picked the fabric as it was suggested, which is 32 count white Belfast linen, and I got it all ready to go. So if calculations are correct, so the large, there's like 3 different sizes biscornus, and the bottom one can be used also as a ring bearer pillow. So the large one, it should be about 3.81 inches. Medium, it would be about 2.57 inches, and the smallest on the top, it would be like 1.32 inches maybe in the size. So there's the tops and the bottoms stitch for all of them, and I've never done biscornu, like put it together, so we'll see if this becomes my first one. And I'm all ready to start, and this time on my homemade frame, which I have a separate video, like a very detailed step-by-step how to make it. I've done the fabric roll opposite way. I usually stitch in the well, but because it's gonna have a beads, I decided to do this roll in here. And I had just a piece of fabric, a little bit skinnier than what it was suggested, but it's longer, and if I need to, I can grab a different fabric too. So I'm all ready to start. It's not gonna be a lot of stitching done, if you can see in the picture, but we'll see how much I can see the beads like shining in there. I can see how it looks, and very excited to start. So I've decided to just do tiny start, and I did 100, well, it's 101 stitches, and I did the corner with the roses because very corner is going to be used with the beads. So I did this, and I used already two colors. And before that, of course, I sorted out my threads, and those two first ones seems like it's those dinky dye silky threads. You can tell by them how they feel. They're soft and smooth versus these DMC. So I sorted out first, make sure that I got it correctly because, by using my DMC, what do you call that, color box with all the samples, and I make sure that the correct number is with the correct thread. So that's what I did, and I did the 100 stitches, and I think that's good enough right now as a start, because I wanna now concentrate on my first monthly pieces. And that is my spoiled child that I do monthly. So as every month I have to do certain amount of stitches if I want to finish like a 2 rows by 5 blocks down. So this is what I have right now. You can compare with the picture. So about the 3,000, what, 700, I would love to do 4,000, but we'll see how it goes. And this is where I'm gonna start. It just mostly is gonna be her skin in the chest area here with some neck, and we'll finish off her face, like a lips. So this is what it looks like right now. You can see her eyes are pretty much done in here hiding, and like maybe I'll be doing up till this point, I'm not sure, but this is the area I'm gonna be concentrating probably next 5 days. And I might start something new. I might continue with my first Biscornu. We'll see how it goes because I have my Stitchmaynia pieces, but this is gonna be my main piece for I guess this week, you could say. So we'll see how I can progress on that. A little thing before I finish this part of mine. So in my many years of stitching, this happened so rarely that I could count on my fingers when I had to frog something out. But you look at her face, of course the colors, especially the red ones, really popping out for you, which is not how it's looking live. But I kept thinking, is there like a pimple on her, because that's kind of looking weird, like you see those spots. And then I looked at my pattern and it's like there's nothing in there. So it turns out in my thread sorter I accidentally mixed up colors. So this is what I had with this orangey kind of looking brownish thread, and this is what supposed to. So I think I pulled out threads from something for near it, and I put it in the wrong spot. So it's supposed to be these gentle colors versus those sharp ones. So now since it's only some few, I have to like start to pull out, frog it out, and it's kind of hard to do because usually when there's smallest amount of stitches in the area, that's what I stitch first, and I think those two are the same in here. So I have to carefully cut off because they're already in the back. They were stitched one of the first stitches, and what had majority kind of covered it all up. So I have to very carefully cut them all separately, and not to touch the ones are near here. But yeah, that's it was kind of frustrating because like I said, I so rarely need to frog it out, and I usually don't mix up colors, especially that hard way. So it was good thing that kept bugging me, and I looked at the pattern like up close, what it's supposed to be like a mock, and there's nothing in there that looks like that. So yeah, now I have to do some ugly work, and only then, once I restitch those correct colors, then I can continue with my second part of this month. But at least she's gonna look prettier, I'm sure. So today is May 5th, 2023, and I decided it's a good time to start something new again. And again, it's not just a simple stitches, not simple X's, and this is called Victorian Diamonds. And it's from this magazine's cross stitch and needlework of October 1997. So it's a bit older, but you can see the design on the outside, what's supposed to look. But it's something very unique. I have not done like this type of design, and it has beads in there too, and the pull thread areas, raised embroidery kind of look. So design is you can see here, Janelle Geese. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. So the pattern itself is like a 70 by 195, and then with the golden threads, they're gonna need to have some tassels, and you can see it looks like a giant, like a buttons looking from. I guess it's also from Kreinik, and there's gonna be like a bugle beads and all kinds of things. So what's interesting that it's suggested to stitch on 32 count water lily royal Danish or Danish linen, and I don't know if that's what it was stitched on, but it looks to me like just a regular creamy color fabric. But I managed to find water lily linen, and it's a you see slightly different muted kind of color, so it's sort of like sort of like a water lily, a little bit more gentle in light green sagey kind of color. And I'm gonna start, of course, from the very beginning. It's gonna have all kinds of seed beads too, and I don't think I have all of them yet in my stash, so I'm gonna be ordering, but I think I can start at least stitching. And I tried to put together, I think this picture is more bleached, to put together like color threads to see if it would pop out or not on my fabric here. So seems like it should be doing good, and it's going to be all kinds of specialty stitching in here too, and we'll see how if I can follow the instructions which are along here in the next page. So I'm not going to show you the pattern itself, but this is something very unique, and I thought on 5th of May 5/5 should be something worthy of this piece. So I'm going to start, but we'll see how it looks after some stitching. And these are the first 202 stitches. So all I needed to work was full crosses, so that's what I did. And the very first thing that I had to stitch was a blend, so I just went around and did those middle part of flowers, and then started to fill in all around it. And that's where excuse me, that's where I'm gonna leave this piece. So I think that's fairly good start for just a little bit working in one night. Now let's go to the next piece, and in 5 days with some interruptions using other whips and life. So this is what I have right now. So that's what it looks like now. She's getting bigger in the size of stitched piece, and you can see all the shadings like falling around her little ear in there. And I fixed all of my mixed in colors. I think it looks much better on her skin, like especially in like that nose that looked like a little witch. And I had about 15 stitches, the same in the boy, so it's much more smoother looking in here. So that took a bit of time, but I'm very happy that I actually did it. And that's the only places that I had this mixed in color. So it's good to check if something is feeling a little bit off. And in 5 days I stitched about 300 less than I wanted to do, but I was happy to stop at this point because I had the previous months done more. So I'm very confident that I can finish this part in June as is planned. And you can see by the picture it's not going to be much fun. It's going to be mostly dark pieces and some like a I don't know if it was sitting there or that's where the door stops, but I'm curious to see what this is gonna look like. And it's gonna be very dark parts in here, so not as fun colors as gonna be before, but that's where my plan is for June. So very happy how it's turning out. And yeah, so that's where I'm gonna leave this month, spoiled child. Now on to the different piece that is a part of my mania from previous years, and it's Semiramis Gardens, or seventh wonder of what do you call that, seventh wonder of the world. And it was created by Modern Twist Embroidery. I was trying to find the designer Olga Mamaeva when I bought it from her, and I don't think she's selling that pattern anymore. It's I don't think she's even on the Facebook where I found, and just had some emails with from old days with some of the stitches, instructions how to stitch it. So I'm stitching as it was recommended in 18 count brown canvas, and the size is 87 by 87. I started that in May 31st 2018. So it's been a while, and it was not that often touch piece. And as she was saying, that we can change anything that we want. It's kind of a work in progress for those who want to have some different variety. And this is what I had up to this point. And very first beginning, it was a tiny done, and then I went a little bit more, and I got kind of sucked into it, and didn't want to stop, but I need to stop. So if you compare to the picture, that was started from very middle, and you can kind of see a color difference in here. I think I tried to go exactly as it was said, but since it's over dyed thread, it's you can get a different color, and I was trying to kind of do evenly what I can, but it's all made up of all those specialty stitches, and there's going to be all kinds of different beads in there too. So there's I don't think there's even one regular cross in there, so that's going to be interesting to get back into. And I can't wait to start. So it's been a very long time since I stitched it last, and I have to now remember all of that. And I don't know which part I'm gonna start, and maybe finish off beads in here and there and continue. I'm not sure, but I need to figure out what is exactly what kind of stitches, specialty stitches are made up of these parts. So we'll see how I can do in here. Like I said, it's a part of Stitchmaynia, so I want to touch up on all of my Stitchmaynia pieces plus extra this month. So that means that not each piece will have a lot of stitching done, but at least I'll touch to them. So it's one of my oldest surviving pieces right now, but since it's a specialty, I'm enjoying it very slowly, like good aged wine or nice strong coffee cup. So this is what I start, and you'll see when I add some to it. And after 2 days of work, I think you can also see some progress done. So I've finished fully everything that you see up to here. The only thing left in this space is to do those corners, and that's, I think, might be like a satin stitches. But I chosen by myself the shade of color for the beads, like these beads, and I've changed how they are layout. In pattern, it was just like in between, kind of put in, and I've decided to go like a picture. I picked some of the smaller beads that sort of matched this color of the thread, and using that thread also I just went around, so it's kind of making look like a outline, a zigzag in here. And this is one of the crinox that was used to finish up those corners. Of course, I can do all kinds of things. I think I might put something maybe bigger in those 4 areas. But once I started stitching, I kind of remembered, well, noticed first and then remember, probably I noticed before, that it's not perfect a square shape is gonna be, because when I was doing these corners, that somehow I miscalculated and did one extra like a stitch, so it's a half cross extra that I have. So now I didn't want to like take it all out that was in before, because it means that this thread, it was connected with the inside, and I had a headache to do it like this one. I don't know how to fix it up, but it was my learning piece, and I decided to leave and figure out if I can wing it for the rest of the sides, because two sides gonna be elongated a slightly bit, and I have to adjust certainly, because you know we have a crosses. So what I did, yeah, you might not notice right away unless I point it out, but like these X's are a little bit bigger on both sides, so 3 by 2 versus a 2 by 2. And of course then when I was putting bead, it was the same way, and I had to stretch out a little bit on to fix this part. But other than that, I don't think you can tell much about it, and I'm very happy to put a few extra like layers on that, and there's a little bit more of course left, but at least I made some progress in this. So I'm gonna set this aside because it was my mania piece, and I think I'm gonna try to work more throughout the year on this, at least like one day at a time, because it's getting closer to being 5 years in the work, and it's so little done. So the next piece is my monthly, and it's this one, my like beloved, and it would be what I printed on my sheet of my babs. It would be this couple, and I'm stitching that a full cross, and I'm starting a new row in here a little bit earlier. I think it was supposed to be like spoil a child that I'm supposed to do after what, June or something to that. But since I finished the row, I can just start a new one, and the more I'm gonna stitch in this, the sooner I can finish it, and maybe then at the end of next year I might be able to finish the whole piece. But this is on a 16 count Ada, and I'm using CXC threads, which are supposed to be cut a little bit shorter than regulars, because they more fluffier and they could break faster. But that's no biggie problem, and I'm all ready to start, and we'll see how it goes. But my monthly minimum was like just over 2,300, but like I said, I'm a little bit ahead of my schedule, and that's makes me happy. So let's start on this one. And here where I'm stopping, I actually did more again, so about the 3,000 stitches done versus last that I was planning to minimum almost 2,400. So as you can see, it's a lot of darkness and some weird stuff in here, so I had to kind of look at the picture, and it's his pointer finger already starting in here, and like a little feathery looks coming out in here on his coat. So this is where I'm gonna stop, and like a hand is gonna be starting in her neck with some tattoos gonna be in the next section. So I'm very happy how it looks like right now, and actually just past the 50% of this, so it's very cool, and it encourages me to stitch even more. But I'm gonna set it aside until June, because I've decided what I wanna stitch next, and it's this London scenery. And there is a reason why I decided to grab this. I haven't touched this since November of last year, so it's been quite a few months, and I think it's good time to pick this up again. Plus it has to do something with the homes, so I'm gonna do fingers crossed putting a wish while stitching. And plus it was a coronation this past week, so that's also something connected with England, and it brings me memories when I was staying in this area myself last summertime. So let's see, right now I have a 20% in this one, and that's all that I have right now. So it's not gonna be very big piece, so a little bit more and it would be quarter. So I could stitch quite a bit, and I think 1% is like 820 maybe stitches, and I'm doing this on a 16 count. I'm double check, yes, antique white Ada. Total is almost 82,000. I started this 2 years ago already, so I think it's good to continue, and just decided to kind of go down. I think it's like a 10 blocks down, and you can kind of compare where is Big Ben in here, and you can see it in this sort of like way in the background, surrounded by the like a fog or rainy day, which is kind of normal in England. And just gonna continue this way. There's gonna be quite a bit of I think it's all in one color because it's made pattern by Chimera, and she was known for fairly simple stitches pattern, and though I think in here I used might have been different older thread perhaps. So if it annoys me enough and I can't wash it, I might have to restitch that part. But I'm gonna just continue, and we'll see how much I can do, because I just want at least to do a touch up on this piece. I love how those lights just pop out in the windows and the shading of the sun casting on the buildings. So we'll see how it looks, but my fingers are itching already to get to this. And this is what I've got about what, 2 days of stitching. So let's look at the picture and like overall. So you see where the Big Ben is right here, and then somewhere in the far also you see all the other buildings and the London Eye. You can see a little bit in here. I decided not to stitch right now that empty spot where it's going to be all in one color, because for one of the games I'll need a lot of stitches done in a small amount of time. So I'm gonna save this, I think, for that, and it's gonna be like a blank mindless kind of stitching. So I just decided to start filling in all other colors, and you can see I already touched up this building right here that's more forefront than in the back side. So slowly been going through that, and I'm very happy that it was going so pretty fast actually, and I went so far in. So you can see in the picture I already reached like this part. So I'm gonna set this aside, but I'm not gonna forget it for that very long, and next time I'll probably gonna be doing the gaming thing where I'm gonna be filling in this part and then some of this filling in too. So that's what I'm gonna be leaving this whip for. I still can't believe how amazing this looks and realistic right now. So that's that for this, and let's see what I've decided to grab next. And next is gonna be one of my fairly old Stitchmaynia pieces, and it's something different, not the regular crosses, and it's plastic canvas kit, and you can see it's called Dracula tissue box cover, and that's a number, and it's a 7 mesh plastic canvas. So at first when I pulled everything out and started looking through it, I thought it is gonna be like this khaki brownish kind of color of the yarn, and I was very surprised when there was no such color, and you can kind of see the two darker colors in here. So I figured the darker probably is gonna be on the side, and the top sort of looked like the same color. So I don't know if it was supposed to be like that or not, but maybe in the picture itself maybe it was bleached or something else happened. So anyway, this is where where I'm gonna look. So I started already cutting today some of the pieces, and it's only a couple left. So let's see what I have. I've decided to go by because the instructions have 2 sheets how to cut it, and I've decided to kind of split them apart. One side is this part, so I have one long side done and almost all the top done in here, and it's all stitched that like a half stitch, so it's fairly easy, and just had to figure out where the inside is and then fill in. And then a couple pieces like that I had to cut out, and then I started cutting the second part. So again, another full side was done, and there's a couple rectangles, and there's going to be 4 bats, and then several sides again with one trimmed part, then the top, like 2 sides of the Dracula's head. If you want to see in the picture, it's gonna be that kind of shaped. So I cut out those, and the only thing left out of this scrap, so I have calculated enough that would be a little bit extra left just in case, and I have a little bit cut out. So I thought about showing you how it should be worked on, because canvas even for cutting is not exactly the same as a regular fabric. So I thought I would show you how I cut out also to make it, let's see, can you see the edges? You have to kind of smooth out the edges, and it's not super easy to do if you don't know how to do it, but I think I figured out a way to make it much more smoother and not sharp, or to make the teeth, for example, like the way I was cutting in here, you see, to make sure that I don't cut accidentally into what it's needed. So I'll show you how I've decided to do this to make it all nice and smooth. So let me set the camera down and I'll show you then. All right, so I have only like these parts that need to be cut out of the big sheets of this canvas, right? So although technically they say you have to count all those bars, because you see it's marked past like empty holes in there, so that's where you're going to be cutting behind those lines. And the way I just calculated is I calculated all those empty little windows and went past them. So for example, this one would be, let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, that's a 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. So it has to be 23 windows and framed, and there's 2 in height. So let's try out. Maybe dark background would be more helpful. So let's see if I can work this through camera. So I count 23 windows, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3. So past that, I'm gonna have to cut. So it's helpful that I already had it cut behind it. So I'm gonna cut this way, and I need the 3 windows able to. 1, 2, 3. So I kind of double check that 1, 2, 3. So it means I'll have to cut 1 past that, and that would be 4th. And then I can come out this way, just double checking. 1, can you see, like 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna be cutting behind it. You can always count those the bars if it's more helpful to you. But I kind of just went by that and turned out it's okay. So if we want to double check, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So that's how I cut it. Now you see I left a little bit of the short ones, so I want to make sure they're not there. And it's especially helpful when you would have something that you need to cut in, like for example here, right, in those. So what I've done in here, I was just kind of flipping over, and because I'm left-handed, I left always scissors like this way, and I just trim a little bit in here and there, And if something's spiking this way, I just flip the way I want it, so my outer edge is always where the scissors easier to get. It's either this way or like this way, and I hold it tight and like just to trim it this part. So that's how it is. So for example here, these ones, I just go right and straight, not at the angle but straight, right next to them, and just gently trim it, straight line. So this is what I get versus like here, and same it's gonna be in there. So it's fairly easy to do. Even if you get a tiny string, it's still, I have plenty of this left in there. So I just want to make sure that I don't get very sharp corners. So for example in here, this little nub in, and the little nub in there. So always I keep the pointers right on my side where I have my scissors, and if need be, like I said, I can just go flip around and just cut it. If I need to, I see some millimeter that I don't like it, kind of go with the fingers, and I think it's fairly good. So same is gonna be with the next piece. It's just I'm gonna cut in here like a straight line, and then you can then look by this line. So I cut through one, and it should be a straight line. So it's way easier than, for example, in here when you had you can kind of look at the lines. You cut 2 and then 1, 2 and 1, and then somewhere there was 1, so I had to calculate a little bit extra. And although they say if it's easier for you to mark on the plastic, mark it with a pencil, because the threads could you know, drag the color. But I was just using a thin Sharpie, and what I did, because I knew what I cut off is going to be scrapped. So for example, if I needed to cut right next to this second bar, so I would cut mark it like this way, gently kind of. So then you can see kind of brownish, so I would cut inside of that, and I know this is not where it's gonna stay on the canvas itself, where I need to drag my what you call it, my yarn through. So I hope that helped, and now I'm gonna finish the cutting the last little tiny piece, and then start putting yarn on them, and we'll see how that works out. By the way, I'm not trimming off, you see my bag, I'm not trimming off yet those things until I finished it all, and then I'm gonna trim a little bit closer to the edge, especially since like I don't want to see these hanging off the edge. So that's where I have going on right now with this, and I'll come back when I stitched some on this. And today is Sunday, May 14th, and it's Mother's Day in US. So I'd like to say happy Mother's Day to all of you ladies who's taking care of someone, be their kids or husbands or furry creatures. And I know it's not always easy, but it's your day, so I hope you're enjoying it and pampering at least yourself if nobody else does that. So it's hot outside, and today is also like a second day and final day of the air show near us at the Air Force Base. And the past like 3-4 days we've been having big planes just keep flying and doing kind of like a supersonic sounds all around us. And we didn't get chance to go in the air show. I think it was like yesterday, like 35,000 people showed up, but we had also huge storms, and event was cut off shortly that evening. And I had to take my husband today to the airport to fly for work, and on the way back I saw a plane like going nearby straight up, and just dived down and disappeared. And then I actually got Blue Angels team flying by on my camera, so maybe I'll try to insert somewhere here or at the So hopefully next year I'll be able to go with my family on the base and see all those planes and all those tricks that they do. It's a sight to see. So what you see in front of you, since it's Mother's Day, I've decided to try this new project. And it was not my plans for this year, but I figured it would be great, especially as the name Inspiration by Rosewood Manor, and Karen Kluba is a designer, of course. So when she also said to me that out of all her designs, at least a couple of years ago, this was the most that she loved, and it was an inspirational piece. When she was traveling, she saw something, and that's what encouraged her to create this design. So it's gonna be a lot of back stitching and a couple stitches and kind of finish off a little like a sampler, and parts of them are gonna be done over one. And originally the fabric was suggested Moon Glow, 32 count, and actually yesterday not yesterday, last year at the Needle Galleria, when I went in her room, she had this picture, this plus chime that she said you can't get a moon glow, seems like, at least at that time, anymore. So she suggested this fabric, and when I put this on the frame, I actually was going through my fabrics, and I found moon glow, but in 28 count. So I figured I'll keep that moon glow for different projects. It has much darker yellow colors than like this one. This one is just a gentle kind of shading, hand dyed, and so I cut a piece of the fabric and put it on my handmade frame that I did. Also, I stretched the sides here with like a craft stick, and sewed up and tightened up in here, so it's a drum tight. And I marked it where the corner, I can start the corner, this piece, and it's gonna take me again a while to do this, because you don't want to drag through the back, especially dark colors, and so it's gonna be a lot of start and end of all those little thingies. So you can kind of see in the design. So this is what I'm gonna start today. I wanted to at least start. This is like a whole booklet in here, and it's a nice big like a large print pattern, so it's very easy to follow, even if you don't want to scan that into Pattern Keeper or any other program. So this is what I'm gonna start today, and I'll show you what I have. And after intense stitching, this is what I've got. Let me move this booklet too. So here it is. I stitched a border that zigzag line all the way to almost where I can't stitch anymore, and that's where the threads ended, so that's fine. So this is not fully 2000 like stitches to count. It was very easy to stitch. And the way I did is once I figured out you know, where to count from the corner, I just started first doing practically just the vines, and like going one way and then coming back another, to like always try to get more nicer uninterrupted line. And once I got them all done, I did in partial, like I would do area and then start stitching. But once I've done that, then it's much easier to find where I want to stitch. Like if I would take a thread and for example this color, and I stitch in there, and then I kind of can tell by the where the line is where to continue using it, the same thread, until it's done. And then I would pick different color and slowly been filling in this whole area. And like I said, it that way, for me at least, it was very easy to go. This way I didn't have to like do a stitch here and then you know, finish off in the back and then put it away and grab another one. This way I could just grab that thread, and I was just picking those areas in this whole section where I can continue stitching with the same color. One of the things that I think I'm gonna change is the eyes of the birds. So here are all my threads except one, so it was like I think 31 colors, and this holds 30 colors, and I just used what is the like just a few stitches of one color and left that one out. So for the eye color, it was which one was it? All right, this 3051, and it's this color right here. And when I started putting in, it was very close to, slightly like lighter than the body of the bird, and you couldn't see the eye. So I think I might switch that to perhaps the darker color thread to kind of show more. And also, this is like a bird sitting sideways. There's gonna be, when you look at the pattern, let me show you pattern again. So in the pattern, reflection. So in the patterns, there's birds like above the baskets too, and then two off the sides. So same here, like a bird in here, and a couple of different colored birds, and on the bottom too. So the same one is gonna be bird in here, and this one. So when I was doing the vines, I went so fast that I actually stitched the bird legs the same color as the vine, but I think in the whole picture nobody would notice that, right guys? So love the colors, very easy to stitch, and here's the middle of a horizontal space. So when you look at the whole thing is not ginormous, like you see my hand, and so like a 3 kind of hand width, and stitching very easily this way, at least for me. You see I started one way back stitching the vine, and once I finished the thread I just didn't go back because I wanted to continue filling in this spot. So most of this area is stitched, and then slowly been putting in like you see those just the empty little shoots of the vine, and yeah, it's looking amazing. I didn't want to stop, although when I look at the whole thing, it's like this border is just way too close to the thing, but then I have to remember that the whole thing is a border. So once I start stitching, I think the middle, it would look a little bit different to me this way, but I love it. I didn't want to put it down, and it got sucked me into this project very quickly. But it's middle of the May, and I think I'm gonna end this video vlogging for this time of part of Mania, and I'm gonna start the second part of Mania. There are a couple things still coming in that I ordered, and from AliExpress and from France, about to show up, and something from Joann's I think supposed to show up like tomorrow. So I'll show you what goodies are coming. I'm thinking that you might be surprised by some of that, but we'll see. Like if you watch me long enough, that I trying different kinds of styles and colors, the choices of the project. So I want to be having a big variety, so something is not exact the same as the next one. And I think you might enjoy watching different things too. So I think I'm gonna leave you with this inspiration, and hopefully this will inspire to stitch, if not this piece, then all other projects pick up, especially the old almost forgotten ones, and pull them out, dust it off, and let's get all the beauties stitched. So until the next time, this was Jurgita saying bye, and I hope to see you again soon.